Have you ever noticed that the deeper you think, the more alone you feel? That the more you understand, the fewer people want to listen? You're not imagining it. This is something that has happened throughout history. Society often fears deep thinkers, not because they're wrong, but because they see things others don't want to see. Think of people like Socrates, Galileo, or Tesla. They weren't ignored because they weren't smart. They were ignored because their ideas made people uncomfortable. Philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer once said, "Intelligence can feel more like a curse than a gift." Why? Because the smarter you are, the more you notice things that others don't. And that can be very isolating. But why do people react this way to deep thinkers? Here's a simple explanation. When we see someone who's strong or rich, we might admire them or feel a little jealous. But when we meet someone much smarter than us, it can feel threatening. Not because they did anything wrong, but because they make us question ourselves. This is called the mirror effect. Deep thinkers reflect our own mental limits, and most people don't like being reminded of that. Intelligence challenges our identity. We define ourselves by what we think and believe. So when someone questions those beliefs, even without meaning to, it can feel personal. That's why deep conversations are often avoided. It's not about the topic. It's about the discomfort it brings. That's also why thinkers often feel misunderstood or pushed away. People prefer confidence, even if the message is simple, over someone who speaks with nuance and depth. This is why charismatic speakers often become popular, while thoughtful ones are ignored. It's not just about social habits, it's biological too. When someone feels intellectually less than, their brain reacts as if it's under threat, just like it would with danger. Why? Because for most of human history, fitting in meant survival. Standing out, especially by thinking differently, was risky. A study from Stanford even found that deep thinkers are less threatening one-on-one, but in group settings, others feel insecure and push them away. In groups, social status matters more. So people may try to silence or avoid someone smart just to protect their own image. Psychology also plays a role. The Dunning-Kruger effect means those who know less often think they know more. Status quo bias makes people resist new ideas. The backfire effect causes people to cling to false beliefs even harder when shown the truth. In the modern world, it's even harder for deep thinkers to be heard. Social media favors short, emotional content, not long, thoughtful discussions. The more complex your thoughts, the harder they are to go viral. This makes it feel like society values entertainment more than real insight. Even schools and workplaces tend to reward people who follow the rules, not those who ask deep questions. The same goes for politics. Leaders who speak simple, feel-good messages often win over those who challenge people to think. Many of the greatest minds in history were rejected during their lifetimes. Socrates was sentenced to death for encouraging people to question. Galileo was punished for saying the earth revolved around the sun. Nietzsche was dismissed as insane. Tesla died broke and forgotten. Turing, the father of computers, was persecuted instead of praised. Hypatia, a brilliant woman in ancient times, was murdered for her ideas. These people weren't wrong, they were just ahead of their time. So what can deep thinkers do? First, understand that your loneliness isn't a flaw. You're just seeing the world more clearly than most. Instead of forcing your ideas on everyone, save them for people who can truly appreciate them. Find others who think like you through books, communities, or deep conversations. As Einstein said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Learn how to share your thoughts in a way people can understand. And remember what Schopenhauer said. Talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one else can see. If you've ever felt out of place for thinking deeply, you're not broken. You're just thinking ahead of your time. And while the world might not always understand you, it needs you. Because it's deep thinkers who move us forward.